Right now, somewhere in America, a credit card statement is sitting unopened on a kitchen counter. Nobody planned for this balance. It built up slowly, a car repair here, a tight holiday season there, a month where the paycheck just didn't stretch. Each charge felt small, manageable, temporary, but here's what almost nobody tells you. That card was never designed to be paid off. It was designed to be carried. Americans are currently sitting on $1.25 trillion in credit card debt. Trillion with a T. And the people carrying it aren't reckless. Many have good jobs, stable incomes, and still watch their balance barely move every single month. If you've ever made a payment and thought, wait, where did that money even go? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how this trap is built, why it's almost impossible to feel your way out of it, and the 5 things that actually break the cycle. Let's start with the number most people never have explained to them. The minimum payment. It sits at the bottom of your statement. It looks responsible. Pay this, and you're current. Nothing bad happens. But here's what that number is actually built to do. Keep you paying for as long as possible while you believe you're making progress. Take a balance of $8,000 at 24% interest. Common now, not rare. Pay only the minimum, and it can take over 20 years to clear it. By the time it's gone, you'll have paid more than double the original amount, sometimes close to triple, almost all of it, interest. 20 years for $8,000. Minimum payments aren't a safety net. They're a pacing mechanism. Calculated, so the balance shrinks just slowly enough that you never feel alarmed, but never actually disappears. Every month you pay, your brain registers it as progress. But most of that payment isn't touching the balance. It's covering interest that piled up since last time. You're not climbing out. You're treading water, and the water is rising slightly faster than you're swimming. Here's the part most people genuinely don't realize. Credit card interest compounds daily. Every day, the balance gets a small slice of interest added to it. Tomorrow, interest is calculated on that new, slightly larger number. The day after, on an even larger one. This is why 2 people with the exact same balance, making the exact same minimum payment, can end up in very different places a year later, depending on something as simple as which day of the month they happen to pay. Now, add a second card. Most people carrying credit card debt are carrying 2, 3, sometimes 4 balances at once, each compounding daily, each demanding its own minimum. When money gets tight, the instinct is to pay whichever card feels most urgent or has the lowest balance, just to feel like something got handled. Meanwhile, the card with the highest interest rate, often the one doing the most damage, gets ignored because its minimum feels small enough to skip worrying about. This isn't a math problem. It's an attention problem. The debt that grows fastest is rarely the one that feels loudest, and every new expense, $300 for a car repair, doesn't get its own separate number. It merges into the existing balance and starts compounding immediately, at the same rate as everything else. There's no fresh start. It all becomes one growing mass. This trap has always existed. But in 2026, it's tightening faster than in years. Inflation has pushed groceries, housing, and everyday essentials up. And for many households, the credit card has quietly become the tool that absorbs the gap between what things cost and what the paycheck covers. Not for luxuries, for groceries, for gas, for keeping the lights on during a tight month. At the same time, credit card interest rates are sitting at some of the highest levels in decades. Many cards above 24, even 28%. The same balance that was expensive 5 years ago now costs meaningfully more to carry every month, even without a single new charge added. This is a specific kind of trap, different from overspending. It's 2 things moving in opposite directions at once: the cost of living rising and the cost of debt rising right alongside it. Someone can manage their money exactly as they did 3 years ago and still watch their balance grow because the environment around them shifted. Student loan payments restarting for millions has added another layer of pressure. And when one bill goes up, the credit card often becomes the quiet buffer absorbing the hit, because it's the only flexible piece in an otherwise fixed budget. None of this means the situation is hopeless. It means the trap is structural, not personal. And once you see it as structural, the shame lifts, and you can start dismantling it. So what actually works? First, stop paying based on which balance feels most urgent. Start paying based on which interest rate is doing the most damage. This is the avalanche method. List every balance. Find the single highest rate. Put every extra dollar there while paying only the minimum everywhere else. It feels slower emotionally, but it's mathematically the fastest way out because it stops the most expensive compounding first. Second, call the card company and ask for a lower rate. It sounds too simple to matter, but a real percentage of people who ask, especially those with a history of on-time payments, get approved. One phone call, 10 minutes, and even a few points off changes the math meaningfully over a year. Third, separate the emergency from the everyday. If groceries or gas keep landing on a credit card because there's no cushion underneath, the fix isn't a stricter budget, it's a small buffer. $300 or $400 set aside so one unexpected expense doesn't become a new permanent balance. It doesn't need to be 6 months of savings to start working. Fourth, consider a balance transfer if the math supports it. Some cards offer a promotional low-interest period. Used correctly, paying aggressively during that window can save hundreds, sometimes thousands, in interest. It's not right for everyone, and it requires discipline once the promo ends. But for the right situation, it shortens the timeline meaningfully. Fifth, maybe the most important shift. Stop measuring progress by the minimum payment. Start measuring it by the total balance, checked once a month. The minimum payment is designed to make you feel like you're handling it. The total balance tells you the truth. None of these steps require a perfect financial situation to start. They require seeing the system clearly enough to stop playing by its rules. Carrying credit card debt doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're living inside a system built, deliberately, to be carried for as long as possible, through minimum payments that feel responsible, daily compounding, working quietly in the background, and a 2026 economy squeezing more people into that cycle than ever. But once you see the mechanics, the minimum payment illusion, the daily compounding, which balance is actually doing the damage, you stop reacting to debt emotionally and start dismantling it strategically. That shift, from reacting to deciding, is where everything changes. Here's the question I want you to sit with. And I genuinely love your answer in the comments. Which credit card balance have you been avoiding looking at? And what's the interest rate on it? Sometimes writing the number down is the first step to changing it. I'll read every response. And if you want to understand what actually happens to your credit score while you're paying debt down, the moves that quietly help or hurt it, that's exactly what we're covering next. Until then, take care of your money, one quiet decision at a time.